Hello, beautiful one. We have seen that there are people who condemn each other, calling them sinners or whatever. On the other side, there are people who praise, who gives this hope that by ethics, morality, righteousness, or goodness, we attain the fulfillment of religion. But nobody is teaching how can we become righteous, because Jesus is teaching righteousness first and everything shall be provided. But how to become righteous? What is the method? But Jesus Christ has taught it. And I want to share with you. But first I want to give you background of the people who were present that time of Jesus and is present even now. That time there were people who were very oppressed. They were slave, and don't think that slave was only in the past time. Slave are first kind of people like the slave. They were such people who were just not thinking anything. They were just doing whatever they were asked to do. Even now, many of us feel this slavery, that if some advertisement come, if some video is trending, we don't use our head, we just follow it. And many times we get influenced by people with wrong intention because of this. So this is what leads us to slavery. Then there are second kind of people who were thinker. They used to think, but they were doing what they were feeling is right for them. Even now there are people who are doing what they think is right for them. And like tax collectors, they asked to Jesus one time one question, that is it not good to give the tax to Roman Empire? And here you see that these kind of people who want to do something that is right for them. Even now we want to do something that is right for us and our family. But then there is third kind of people. It is the group of the Peter, John, James, etc., whom Jesus made his apostle. These were the people who used to think what is right for all. They were not just limited to their own family. They were thinking what is right for all. And here you can get the example, because we don't know much about the life of Peter, John or James, but we know some background of the life of Paul, and Paul is apostle. So you have seen that Paul was persecuting the believers, and Stephen who died in front of Paul. And Paul, many people talk about Paul when he was in the beginning Saul, the way he used to torture people. There are so many stories about him, and he himself has written in the scripture that how he got transformed. But one thing that you can notice in the life of the Paul, when he was Saul, even that time Saul had some very great quality. I'm not speaking about the Paul, I'm speaking about Saul. That there was some very great quality of Saul, that he used to think what is right for all. Maybe he was on the wrong side. He was thinking that it is not right for all, so he wanted to correct people, although he was on the wrong side. But you can see that his way of thinking is on the third level, on the third dimension. The first dimension is a slave consciousness, in which people just don't think, they just follow the rat race, whatever is going, and this leads to slavery. Second kind of thinking is of the second dimension, in which we think of what is right for us. But there is third dimension, in which we think of what is right for all. But we are not perfect. Sometimes, like the Saul, we make the wrong decision. But we are thinking, but Saul is not thinking of himself or just his family, but he is thinking of all. So he got chosen because his perspective was larger. His dimension was not limited to himself or his own family only, but to universal ideal was there to him, although his direction was wrong, but his mind was bigger, and that's why he got chosen. So now I lead you to fourth dimension, that is the dimension of Jesus Christ. Here in this there is no judgment, because until Saul there is judgment, this is right, this is wrong. But on the fourth level there is acceptance. And like Jesus went to Samaritan woman with whom Jews people used not to even share their bowls and cups. But Jesus went to drink water with her. Jesus used to go to women whom people called prostitute. Jesus would go to men whom people called thief. He was accepting everyone, and from there he used to expand their gaze, their mind, give them idea to lift up their eyes. And this is how Jesus, the fourth dimension in which there is acceptance for everyone. Jesus is saying that there are many good people who are not yet in the flock, but he would bring them to there. And Jesus said that in my Father's house there are many rooms. So there is not just one way of seeing the thing. Jesus collected people from every different dimension, and then he taught them to lift up their eyes and to see the higher perspective. I always mention Nathaniel because I like Nathaniel because he denied Jesus before meeting Jesus, and then he made this genius choice, or rather it was the effect of Jesus that he accepted. To Nathaniel, Jesus said that you believe just because I told you that I saw you under the fig tree, but you will see even greater thing. You see, everywhere Jesus is trying to open their mind, to lift up their eyes to higher perspective of thinking, because Saul was also thinking of what is good for everybody. You will find so many Sauls present even in present time, but Saul becomes Paul only when that person accepts this fourth way of seeing the truth, when he recognizes, he loves everybody, he accepts everybody. Person who is not of his own faith, person who is different than his own belief system, but he goes there and he understands them, he accepts them, and make their mind grow, make their vision lifted up. And that's why there are many people who are called Gentiles or non-believers, and Paul was able to help them get this vision of the Christ, because one time we found Jesus Christ reading this scripture. Every word of Jesus Christ is scripture in itself, but only one time Jesus is reading scripture, and you know what he read? He read, "The Spirit of Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to declare." And what to declare? Here Jesus says, "He has sent me to declare freedom to the captors." Captors are limited, like the first group of dimension of the people who are not thinking anything, just they are following because they are captors. And Jesus is going to open their mind. Freedom to the captors, recovery of the sight of the blind, and people who are just thinking of themselves, limited to themselves, he is going to recover their sight, the second dimension of people, and to set free those who are oppressed and those who oppress people, because they are oppressed by their own belief system, so they want to impose it on everybody else, as Saul was. And Jesus was there to set him free, and he attained this fourth dimension of expansion, in which he also realized that in his Father's house there are many rooms. There is room for every different kind of people, every different kind of faith, and he is going to accept it. And then Jesus says, today the scripture is fulfilled, and only then the scripture get fulfilled when we attain this expansion, where we attain the potential of everybody. And Jesus declares that kingdom of heaven is at hand, with all other creature grows at the cost of others, like plants feed on minerals, animals feed on plants and other animals. But human can also live like the plant and animal, but human can grow by helping others grow. And this is by accepting them as they are, and then give them the helping hand. Jesus did not condemn the woman whom scripture was calling fallen. He went there, he was just there, he accepted her, he praised her love, he gave his helping hand to that. And that is the way, this is the fourth dimension, and this is how Jesus thinks. And I felt like sharing with you. Thank you for listening. May God bless you. Thank you so much.